All right, on this episode of the LPDS, we get into some more tinfoil hat updates. I have a bone to pick with a certain language learning program, and we talk a little bit about Jim Carrey and McDonald's in the Junction. All that, plus a cage fact coming at you right now. All right, Jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to the Libretti Podcast Diary Show. I'm your host, Libretti, the show that talks about nothing but tries to find the lessons in everything, and we have a good time doing it. Hope everybody had a good week. If you did, or if you didn't, tell me about it in the hotline, 202-670-1114. Love the hotline, miss the hotline. Tell your friends about the hotline, 202-670-1114. Another productive week here at the LPDS compound. Still got a lot of stuff to do in life that I don't want to do. Got to mow the lawn, got to pull the weeds, got to spray around the perimeter for bugs and what have yous. Get the gardening stuff ready, the plot ready, fertilize, weed that area, get that prepped and ready to go. I got the seeds already planted, so that's good. We got a little sprouts of tomatoes. And what you can expect from that is probably the same as the last couple years. So don't get your mouth watering for any of the goods just yet, because it takes a while to cultivate enough crop for everybody to enjoy. So we're growing the garden plot a little bit bigger this time, and we'll see how it turns out. I'll keep you guys posted on that. But it's doing a lot of stuff here. Doing a lot of stuff. Before we get into everything, this is just a friendly LPDS weekly reminder that the Epstein stuff is still going uninvestigated in the official sense. Not the congressional hearings of the he said, she said that don't do anything, that don't mean crap, that don't lead to arrests and justice for the victims. I'm talking about actual arrests and investigations and justice for the victims. None of that's going on. So, but like I said, I'm going to keep bringing it up. I'm never going to stop talking about it because I think so much of our world is connected to this. And this is, I also think that this is just one of several of these types of operations and rings going on around the world and have gone on historically too. I think this has been going on for a while in different areas by different people, different assets. And it's just sickening. It's just sickening that they're not doing anything about it, which makes sense, though, because they're the ones who started it in the first place. But I will say this. Congress had a resolution put up to them to release all files and documents pertaining to any sexual misconduct investigations that are occurring or have occurred involving congressional members, congressmen and women. There are a lot of them going on right now or have gone on recently with sitting members of Congress, sexual misconduct cases, meaning victims are coming forward and these people are being investigated for sexual assaults, molestation, harassment, abuse, things like that. With different victims, staffers, and what have yous. And there's investigations, there's settlements that have already been paid out. And guess who's paid those settlements out? Those are all taxpayer-funded settlements. It is not coming out of the direct pocket of the individual person that was being charged or settled for some of them. I'm not going to say all. I'm not going to be incorrect. I don't want to be incorrect here. That's not all taxpayer-funded, but it's enough of a taxpayer-funded settlements to keep things quiet, essentially. And this bill was pushed to release all those documents and information out to the public. And of the 400 plus congressmen that sit in the House, the representatives, only 65 voted to release those documents. 357 or something like that. 350 plus congressmen voted to push it to the House Ethics Committee to review themselves, which means, just a quick how you doing for you guys, a little learning for you. That means that this committee is comprised of congressmen and women, House of Representatives people, and they're going to investigate and make a decision together if documents about themselves being investigated and charged with sexual misconduct crimes should be released to the public. Okay? That is like saying, we're going to let OJ decide whether he releases evidence of him killing his wife and that guy. That's what they're saying. So that resolution is clearly dead. That's not going to get passed by the House Ethics Committee to release documents on the committee themselves, members themselves. But this is just another what's the word I'm thinking of? Damn it, I'm always blanking in the moment. Weak-minded, that's what it is. This is just another added to the list of crap that our government is trying to protect themselves over. More sexual misconduct. I got it's fruit fly season. It's a disgusting little shitty natty fly season here right now, and if there's any sort of organic material in your house, aka food, they swarm. The whole house is swarming with them. I got apple cider vinegar traps all over the house. The house stinks. I can't keep my garbage in my house because they're growing in there or something. I don't even know where they're coming from. Anyway, add this to the list of things of sexual misconduct going on in our government by our government officials that we supposedly voted for that are choosing to protect themselves against the will of the people. Don't forget, the whole idea behind government in America was we vote for representatives to represent our interests. And they have the senators, 2 per state or whatever it is. I believe it's 2 per state. And then a certain amount of congressmen and women. And that's dependent on the state, different districts. And they're supposed to advocate for their districts, for their states, and for those people in those districts and states. And the overwhelming majority of the people in this country want not only the files like this to be released, but investigations to be actually conducted and people tried and brought to justice for this stuff. And the people we supposedly voted for are continuing to snuff it out and sweep it under the rug and do the exact opposite of what the voters want. So this is, again, a friendly reminder to everybody come voting time. I know there's midterm elections coming up and all that stuff that happens that people only care about on the day of voting, and they don't do their research and educate themselves on what they're voting for, who they're voting for, why it's important, why it's not important, whatever. This is just a friendly reminder that these are the people that are up for a re-election or election or whatever. So it's important to know who you're voting for, what position they hold, what powers that position holds itself, what you're actually getting into by voting for this person in this position in this area, what it all means, how it actually affects you. Because the media and the politicians and school, they're not going to tell you any of this stuff. They want us to be stupid so we can keep voting in these people who are committing sexual crimes, paying for them on our dime, with our dime, and then covering up against our will. And then when we actually band together and demand justice or release of information, they bring the carrot a little closer to you, and then poof, war, chaos, distraction, alien invasions, all the stuff we talked about. Turn on the TVs. What do you see on every news outlet right now? Every network news outlet. War with Iran updates. That's all you see. And you get your different spins from Fox and Newsmax and CNN and MSNBC. They all have their different versions of the war. And you don't see what's really going on underneath our big, fat, stupid noses. Because that's what they want. And it's frustrating. It's very frustrating because we keep falling for it. The too many people keep falling for it. And thinking we're the crazy people for not falling for it anymore. I have firsthand experience. I want to tell you something real quick. And that, again, this serves as a reminder for you before I get real heated. I've seen firsthand, I've experienced firsthand, and I have many friends and ex-colleagues and stuff from the military, government, different positions, whatever. Firsthand experience of seeing these politicians behind closed doors, working together, chumming it up, being all nice and friendly and professional, working to get their agendas done, doing what they have to do together to push their agendas, their each individual sided agendas. Then they high-five each other. They come out of their office. They go into the whatever lobby they're in, wherever the news reporters are and the cameras are, and you have the Republican officials, congressmen or senators, they'll shoot right over to Fox News, Newsmax, News Nations, whatever. And then you'll have the Democrat ones shoot right over to CNN, MSNBC, BBC, NPR, whatever, all the other ones. And what are they doing? And they just got out of the office together, high-fiving and yucking it up, knowing what they're doing. And now they're on TV trashing each other. Well, these guys don't want to play ball, and that's why this isn't getting done. And don't forget, when it comes time to vote, remember what these people did and didn't do and this and that. It's a game, okay? And where are the damn puzzle pieces? Where are the pawns in the stupid game? When they say they're playing 3D chess, it's not because they're outsmarting us. They're using us. They go behind closed doors. They come together with their agenda. They shake hands and high five, and then they come out to the public and make us hate each other over it. And weaken us and distract us so that they can keep going and doing what they're doing right under our noses. And I'm just over it. I'm just over it. So, but I'm not going to stop talking about it. Because that's what they want us to do. Stop talking about it. They want everybody, they want your friends to roll their eyes at you and call you names and call you crazy and say you're paranoid and you don't know what you're talking about. They wouldn't do this. Stop being a nut job so that you feel small and stupid, and then maybe it'll go away. They try to debunk you by character assassinating you. And I'm not doing that. I'm not letting that happen. I don't care if people think I'm the crazy person for bringing this up every week. I'm going to keep bringing it up because it's the biggest thing It's one of the biggest, worst things in our history that's going on right under our noses. This operation with Epstein and the government toying with us and screwing around with us, and we're paying for it. We're literally paying for it out of our own pockets, day in and day out. We are paying them to fuck with us. And the sooner people start realizing that and stop bashing your family members or colleagues or friends because they don't vote the same way that you do, they're right-leaning or they're left-leaning and they're the opposite of you and they're on the other team. The teams is us versus them. The them is the people in power doing this to us, using our money and screwing with our brains and our psyches. That's them. The us is the American citizens, the people getting screwed with, the regular, normal citizens out there. And they tricked you into thinking that we're fighting amongst ourselves, that it's the person next to you, it's your neighbor that put up the Kamala Harris sign on their lawn or their MAGA Trump flag, that they're the enemy. No. Okay, that's exactly what they want us to do. Hate each other. And you can disagree all you want, but unfortunately, that's the reality. I don't want it to be. This is not my opinion. That's the reality. So that's all I got to say about that for this week. I'm done bitching about that for this week. Stay tuned for more Epstein updates and more reminders next week. Anyway, while I'm heated, I just want to take another quick jab. Not at a human being, but as you know, I've been trying to improve my Italian. The language, that is. Not the stereotypes that I'm pretty good on. And I've been doing Duolingo. I'll tell you how long right now, actually. This fucking camera keeps freezing. I don't know what it is with my setup here. I got to get this figured out. This pisses me off. I have all the latest technology and it still does this shit. Anyway. I've been doing Duolingo. This is a streak. 248 straight days as of the time of this recording. Every day, a little bit, at least 5-10 minutes a day, at least. For 250-ish days almost. 248 days. By the time you're listening to this, it'll be over 250 days. And I am not one iota closer to being able to speak Italian to somebody with any sort of skill or wherewithal whatsoever. At all. I've learned some words. I can understand. I will say this. I am able to understand very basic, slow conversations better. But I'm not able to respond effectively. I still have to look up and refresh and figure this out. Now, I know there's going to be the Duolingo people are going to be out there saying, well, we guarantee you'll be able to speak conversationally within 3 months, but that's if you pay for Duolingo Plus or whatever it is, a super family plan or whatever that you have to actually pay for. And here's the thing with that. The only thing it does when you pay is it removes ads. It gives you unlimited power per day, energy, because each day you get 25 points of energy, and once you use them for the day, they refresh every 24 hours. So you could get about 15 to 20 minutes of study time in a day with that energy. And if you get a bunch of score streaks in a row, getting things right in a row, you get a what do you call it? You get bonus points and stuff, so it'll last a little longer. That's the only thing. So then you could do it all. You could do it for a couple hours a day, and that's what they're going to say. Well, if you had the unlimited, if you have the Super Duolingo family plan, you could do it for 2, 3, 4 hours a day. And then if you do that every day for 3 months, then you'll be able to speak conversationally. I know the ploy. I know the sleazy business tactic they use to cover their asses. But in reality, people aren't doing that. Okay? Nobody has 2, 3 hours a day to dedicate to that. Unless you're a child learning the language. And if that's the case, you're not using Duolingo. You're probably learning it from your parents at that point. So I am in the market. I don't care about my streak. I'm still going to do it until I find a better program to use. I was told that this was the best, and really what it is we got duped into thinking it was the best because it's the most popular, because they push the most ads out there. Listening to podcasts, listening to the radio, on TV, Duolingo is the most popular out there marketing-wise. So, of course, we're going to hear that. You haven't heard from Rosetta Stone nearly as much. I don't know if Rosetta Stone has done much to update themselves in quite some time. I don't know. I haven't seen their marketing recently. But I'm telling you, if you want to learn a language, Duolingo ain't it. Unless you have 4 years to casually learn your language. Or if you knew a language and you're trying to brush up on it, go ahead. You can use it for that. I'm sure it'll help for that. But to start from scratch, I've learned words. It doesn't explain the reasons why certain words are different when they're plural or singular, or when you're talking about a man or a female or whatever. It just tells you whether you got it right or wrong when you answer the question, if you spell it wrong. No, it's actually with an O because we're talking about male version here and not female version. They don't say that. You just got to figure it out yourself. Unless you pay extra, and then they'll give you the quick explanation. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't paid extra. I will tell you this. They have no problem pushing their progressive agenda, though. I'm only guessing that Duolingo is run by super progressive people, because every lesson I have, I'll say if I take 7 days in a week worth of lessons, that could be up to 14 to 20 lessons, depending on how many I do each day. I'd say 75% of those lessons include some sort of pushing some agenda. A wedding with 2 fellas. Oh, my 2 moms, my 2 dads. I love this mosque. My Arab friend is marrying my Asian friend. All this shit. Now, I don't, you know me. I don't care about that. If that's what happens in real life, cool. But it doesn't happen 80% of the time. It doesn't happen 75% of the time to where I need to know how to talk about this stuff in a different language. Okay? I will never go to Italy and talk to somebody about how beautiful a mosque is. I don't go to Italy to look at mosques. I don't talk to my Italian family to talk about mosques or any of their marriages to their Arab lesbian friends. That doesn't happen. Okay? I don't care about that. If you care, cool, that's awesome. I don't care about it. I don't need to learn about it. I'm trying to have conversational Italian so that when I go on vacation or go live there or whatever, I can make my way around without stumbling and bumbling. I can understand the waiter. I can ask for directions. I can meet new people and have conversations. I'm not sitting there asking them where I can get a tuxedo for my 2 uncles' wedding. Sposo y sposo. Groom and groom. I don't care about that. I don't need to know that shit. So somebody please help me find a better program to learn a language. And if it's something that you got to pay for, just tell me. You could tell me that. I'm open to paying a couple of bucks if it means I can have a conversation with somebody, if there's a back and forth to actually learn the language and what I'm saying, what I'm pronouncing incorrect, what I'm getting right, what I'm getting wrong. Duolingo, I can't say Juan at all. I said it 55 different times in the practices. It's Juan is the name in these lessons that I'm doing the past 3 weeks. And no matter how I pronounce it, no matter how loud I am, no matter where the mic is that I put up next to me, it doesn't even register that I'm saying the word. And it marks me as wrong every time. Why do I need to know Juan? None of my family members in Italy are named Juan. I don't know any. I never met one person while in Italy ever named Juan. Why am I getting dinged because I don't know how to pronounce? Because you can't hear? Because the program glitches out and doesn't let me pronounce Juan the right way? Give me a fucking break. Teach people the language. I'm never going to go to a gay wedding in a mosque. Nobody is, actually. If we're being really honest here. Those don't happen. Those are actually illegal in mosques. So stop telling me how to say, I can't wait for this wedding in a mosque. The mosque is beautiful. My lesbian friends look beautiful in this mosque. No, they don't. They would never be allowed in there in real life. I don't care to learn. You stop wasting my time. I don't need these words in my vocabulary. I need to learn how to ask for directions. I need to learn if somebody knows how to speak English. I need to know how to order at a table. I need to know how to say hello and meet new people and start a conversation. Somebody please help me find a better program. Please. 250 days every single day without fail. And I can tell you about the Indian wedding with the Moroccan family members at a mosque in Milano. That's all I can tell you. Something that is statistically a near impossibility to have. But I know that. I can't make a reservation at a table at a restaurant yet, though. 250 days in. I still don't know how to confidently make a reservation at a restaurant for 5 people. Cinque persone. That's all I know. I would have to say something like un tavolo cinque persone. 1 table for 5 people. And hopefully they know what I'm talking about. And the only reason I know that is because I did Google Translate to look it up. Not through Duolingo. They're also using words that actual Italians don't say. Like versions of words that are formal, like salve is hello. Italians don't say that in real life. They'll say buongiorno in the morning, ciao every other time to say hello. So again, if anybody has recommendations to language programs that actually help you have conversations in the language you're trying to learn, I'm all ears. And to prep the battle space to Steve McStiff, my pal, our streak is going to end soon. I'm sorry, but I don't have the patience to keep going with this, and I'm not getting anything out of it. So I know we have a good streak going at 230, 40 days together. It's going to come to an end soon. And I will likely be the one to end it because I'm going to eventually switch to a better program. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Let's just move on and get to the good stuff finally. We'll see if it's good stuff, but we'll get in there. We'll step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Pancake Fingers. Who doesn't love a fresh stack of flapjacks every once in a while? Now, imagine that delicious plate of pancakes is coated with an even more delicious fried chicken breading and ready to eat in just 30 seconds of microwave time. Well, you don't have to imagine it anymore because Tony Rigatoni made it a reality with pancake fingers. PFDs take what you love about pancakes and combine them with what you love about chicken tendies to make a scrumptious, stroke-inducing, ready-to-eat meal with just the press of a button. Now you can enjoy everybody's favorite combo of pancakes and chicken breading in one shot with pancake fingies. So to pick up a batch today, head on over to your local IHOP. If you go to the back door near the dumpster, one of Tony Rigatoni's foot soldiers will be there ready to give you all the PFDs you want. And if you use the promo code International House of Fingies, you'll get 29% off your first batch. And that's all I got to say about that. All right, the Cage fact, very quick. I saw, by the way, even more movies that have popped up on streaming recently that I will talk about. Okay, one just popped up on maybe it's Prime, I think. Not to actually pay to watch it, but I think it's on Prime or Hulu. It's actually on streaming service now. I'll go to talk about that next week because the guy writing the opinion piece on the movie just watched this movie. It's been out for a number of years, and I have some things to say about it. But today's Cage fact is about Spider-Man Noir. Now, we're all tracking the live-action TV series that's going to be on Prime, Spider-Man Noir, where he plays one of the versions of Spider-Man in the Spideyverse is this noir detective from back in the day who's Spider-Man. That's the version in that universe. And now, if you know the story of Spider-Man in general, he gets bit by this radioactive spider and he becomes spider-like. He gets webs, he can jump, he gets super strong, whatever, That's what happens, and he saves and he fights crime. Saves people, fights crime. Well, everybody's historical memories and versions of Spider-Man that we have seen throughout history have a guy hiding the fact that he has some spider-like qualities. But it is a human being who does spider stuff and when he's masked up. Or she. In the multiverse, there's probably she Spider-Man, Spider-Woman. In Nic Cage's version, Nic Cage said he wants to play the character, and he is playing the character as if he is a spider who has to pretend to be a person. So he flipped it. He's more spider who's in a human body and now has to be out in society. When he's out there in public, he has to do person-human things. Now, this is coming out in May, so we got a little time to wait for this first season to come out. But just in general, that way to play a part, I'm locked in on. I want to see how somebody plays that role where it's reversed. They're not a human who's pretending to do spider, trying to get better at being a spider. They're a spider in a human's body trying to get better at being a human, so nobody detects that he's got Spidey qualities. That already interests me. I want to see that version, how that looks. You lay on top of that the fact that it's Nic Cage doing it. The best to ever do it is going to be doing that version that nobody else has seen before. We're sitting on award-worthy performances coming up. I promise you. We will not be disappointed. I guarantee it. Now, you could also argue, and I could argue this as well, that idea would never even come into fruition by somebody else. That only Nic Cage can come up with that idea. Let's do this version of Spider-Man. And you would be right in a lot of cases. I like to give some other people a little bit of credit here in life. I try to be objective. But in all reality, nobody else is coming up with that idea. Nobody. And that's why it's going to be so damn good. It's a crazy idea that's going to be played out by the king of crazy. Nobody does crazy better on screen than Nic Cage. Nobody. You could say there are actors out there that play their parts better. Daniel Day-Lewis really gets into his roles as bad guys or good guys or whatever, Abe Lincoln, whatever. Yeah, and you'd be right. But nobody plays crazy like Cage. When you need to have an unhinged fit of rage in any genre, any subject matter, any scene, any storyline ever, doesn't matter if it's a comedy, a drama, an action movie, a detective, a noir, nothing, a Western. He not only can provide that unhinged, crazy, freak-out ability, but he does it in a way that actually feeds the story in the film and helps elevate it, helps it out, makes it better, and he's the best at it. There have been plenty of movies I've seen where people have weird freakouts and unhinged craziness, and they're okay. And it does, has that effect of like, whoa, this movie took a turn here after this scene, but nobody's doing it like him. And now he puts this twist, the Cage twist, on Spider-Man in another way that we didn't realize. I mean, come on. Nobody's gonna be a better Spider-Man. Nobody. I love Tom Holland. And I liked emo Tobey Maguire. But all I can say is get ready. Get ready for a Spider-Man like you've never seen before. So that's the Cage fact. There you go. You're welcome. Move over to the Junction. We'll spin the logo up. I want to talk about two things today. I'll try to be brief. Last week's episode, I half made a mistake, but I'm actually not mad I made this mistake. Last week, I meant to discuss the situation with Jim Carrey at that French awards show. And I forgot about it. But I'm glad I forgot about it because now we can actually talk about what went down and what I think is really going down. So put on your tinfoil hats. Okay? Now, if you're not tracking, get your hats on. 2 weeks ago, a couple weeks ago, whatever it was, there was this French film festival or award show that Jim Carrey was supposed to be getting an award for, and gives a speech too, apparently. And the facial features, we'll say, right off the bat looked strange. It did not look like Jim Carrey at all. It looked like a stunt double. Like, there was just like, loosely based. Like, it looked like if you put Jim Carrey in a microwave and he melted a little bit. That's what it looked like. And everybody was up in arms about it. Like, who is this guy? What happened to Jim Carrey? What kind of facial work did he get done? Say it ain't so, Jim. There's no way that you went full Hollywood and got all this plastic surgery done. What's going on? And at the time of last week's recording, we didn't know. There was speculation of surgery, that he died. Got another bug. That's 5 on the day. Just in this recording right now. If you're only listening in Apple and Spotify land. I'm snatching flies out of the air here. Anyway, there was theories that he died and this is a clone or this is a body double so people didn't ask any questions on why they killed him for speaking up about stuff. And he's spoken up about a lot of stuff in the past that's very anti-Hollywood. It would appear. And what I mean by that is not anti, like I don't like doing movies. It's anti-Illuminati, anti-pedophilia, all the stuff that Hollywood pushes and thinks is okay. He was pushing against it. And so people were thinking that he was off for that and that they had to hide it. They didn't want to say anything, so they put this body double up. And I started doing investigating right then and there. And the cheekbones were all jacked up. You could argue that maybe that could have been surgery done on the real Jim Carrey, but unlikely because he's against vaccines. Why would he have plastic surgery? The nose was a different nose. The teeth were different looking. The chin was a little wider. His eyes were a different shade, a different color. And then the two things that really did it for me were the long hair, because 2 weeks prior to this award show, he was on one of those night shows. I don't know if it was Jimmy Kimmel or Colbert or whatever, and he had shorter hair, way shorter hair, like almost buzz cut short. And he shows up to this award show 2 weeks later with long flowing locks that would probably take him 3 to 6 months to grow out in that length and that style. And he wasn't wearing a wig. And you could say, oh, well, he probably recorded that night show months ago. Not really. They don't do that. They record the week of, the day of, like in one or 2 days or whatever, they record for the week. And then they put those hour-long episodes out for the rest of the week on those night shows. Not months prior. And then he had a weird cadence to his voice and how he was speaking. But the second thing that really gave it away was there was a video of him signing autographs for people. And he was signing autographs with his right hand. And if you know Jim Carrey, you know that the mask is left-handed. And that's when people erupted. That's when shit hit the fan for whatever was going on. And then out of nowhere, this guy, Alexis Stone, comes out, some Instagram guy or gal. I don't know if it's a trans or what. The name is Alexis Stone, but when you look at him, it's a dude. They have a wiener or had a wiener at one point. And it's this guy who has done stuff like this in the past where they show up to award shows. He has these Hollywood masks that he wears and he puts the makeup on and the clothes. He showed up as Cruella de Vil one time, Glenn Close's Cruella de Vil. He showed up as Cher or something like that in the past. But here's the thing. And he said, oh, here's the mask I had of Jim Carrey. This was just a social experiment. I went out and I did this as Jim Carrey, and it was me the whole time. And he had a picture of the hair with the mask. No pictures of him, no videos of him actually doing it on his page at the time of this recording anyway. Meanwhile, you go look at his other works that he's done where he's impersonated actors and actresses doing his makeup and masks and what have you. And a couple things stood out to me as an investigative tinfoil hatter. One, he has videos of himself on his page for all these other things that he's done to advertise after the fact. It's him. Hasn't posted any videos from his crew, because he usually has a crew doing it, as Jim Carrey, which is a little weird. Now he could probably say something like, "Well, we didn't want anyone to know it was Jim Carrey. I wanted to see how long we could go, so I didn't want my crew out there filming. The other times I did it, I wanted people to know that it was me and not Glenn Close," or whatever it was. He could probably make that defense, and it would hold up in court without any other evidence to push back on it. But if you look at his other works, it is 100% clear, 100%, without a doubt, that that is not the person he is pretending to be. It is very clear that this is a high-quality mask and makeup job, but that's not Glenn Close playing dressed as Cruella de Vil. That is somebody else dressed up as Glenn Close, dressed up as Cruella de Vil. Very clear. It's still a great job. It's still a very good job. Really well done. I'm not dogging on his product there at all. But you can see through by the eye specifically, there is enough space and gap there that you're like, that's not how real eye sockets and spacing work. There is clearly a gap between like the mask and where it connects to the eye area and the eyeball. Like every one of his other things that he's done is all top tier. But it's very clear. This is a person playing another person. Playing another person. Because they're usually dressed up in a costume, like I said. He was playing Glenn Close. He was dressed as Glenn Close playing Cruella de Vil, not just regular Glenn Close. This guy, this Jim Carrey clone, was not that at all. Now, he could have upped his game. He could have worked with the CIA to up his mask game and the makeup blending all around. Sure. And you can call me crazy. If you think the CIA doesn't have this capability, think again. Okay? They've had it since a long time ago, before you and I were born, some of us. But I digress. So you could argue that he did work with that. But if you look at the guy, it is very, very difficult to identify any markers in there that suggest that that's a mask. Also, a mask, mind you, that cuts off at the bottom of the neck. Because the picture the guy posted on his Instagram, Alexis Stone, the mask ends at the bottom of the neck that you can cover with a shirt and all that. This guy, this imposter, what I would say, this is my personal assessment on the investigation so far. I'm not a professional per se. I would say that was a lookalike, a Jim Carrey lookalike, not in a mask, just a different guy. And whether they puffed the face up, or that's just what the guy looks like, or it's a CIA clone, or whatever it is, it was a stunt double or what have you. That's what it looks like. Or they just up their mask game and their makeup blending game so well, and this is like a test. That's the only other explanation I have. That's the only other assessment I have. This was a completely different stunt double altogether, a lookalike, a doppelganger, or it was a different guy that didn't look like him, and they're testing out their new technology to see if people would figure it out. Another thing that's interesting is I have yet to see Jim Carrey talk about this at all in public statements whatsoever, which is weird to me. Is he in on it? it's strange that a guy would go like this Alexis Stone character would go to a award show to accept an award and speak at the podium as a fake without Jim Carrey being in on it. And if this guy's going to admit to doing it, why isn't Jim Carrey out there admitting that, yeah, I knew about it? None of that doesn't make sense to me. There's a disconnect there. I think the jury is still out. I think this investigation should still very much be open. And I think this was a more of a test for something, not a fun social experiment. I think it was a test to see if we're going to notice when people start disappearing for one reason or another. And there could very well be Jim Carrey is in distress, because it is very strange that I haven't seen anything. He hasn't come out. TMZ hasn't been to his house to ask him about it. Nothing. So I don't know. I still don't know what's going on. All I'm gonna say is I don't believe the story they just recently put out about this Alexis Stone guy. Something doesn't sit well with that. Something's off about it. Also, this Alexis Stone doesn't have Jim Carrey's voice. He's not an impersonator voice-wise. He wasn't going out and doing Glenn Close's voice. Did they give him a voice box? Like, the whole thing stinks. And I know it shouldn't be a big deal. It's just like, well, no harm, no foul. It's just a celebrity Hollywood thing. But there's a reason why they're doing it. There's a reason why it's being done with Jim Carrey of all people. Why didn't they pick somebody who would be absolutely game to do that? One of the actual Hollywood types. One of the shills, one of the scales in Hollywood. Why wouldn't they pick one of them and have fun with it? Ben Stiller, Bob De Niro. Any one of them. Whoopi Goldberg. Who would have been on board with it, and then they would have helped the story better by coming out themselves and saying, no, we had this makeup artist do this as a social experiment. Ta-da! But no, they picked Jim Carrey. Could it be because they're testing to see if they can actually take him out? Or did they really actually take him out? And then after there was actual backlash and people saying, hey, something's off here, they had to create this last minute bullshit story with this Alexis Stone character? I don't know. I don't want to think that. I don't necessarily think that's the case, but I'm not completely closed off to it. We have the tinfoil hats on, folks. Every option is a plausible option here. The only thing I can conclude is that the whole thing is fishy, and I don't buy the narrative. That's all I can conclude at this point. And if I were an investigator, if I were Ben Reilly from the Spideyverse, this would be an absolute open investigation. I would be sleeping in the Murphy bed in my office, burning the midnight oil, trying to get to the bottom of it. So maybe stay tuned. Maybe they snuffed this story out so well that we won't hear about it anymore. Who knows? I'll try to do some digging while I'm also digging on Epstein stuff to keep that going, keep that investigation going. That's all I got to say about that. The last thing I want to talk about very briefly, a little bit more near and dear to my heart, maybe. Everybody, I'm sure, has seen, if you're on social media a lot anyway, I'm sure you've seen the whole situation with the McDonald's CEO trying the new McDonald's new burger, the Big Arch, which is like, I don't know, another name for a double quarter pounder with a Big Mac sauce, I guess. It doesn't look you know me and McDonald's. I'm blindly loyal to McDonald's. I'm a McDonald's guy. Mayor McCheese, Grimace, the whole gang. But I call a spade here. This is not a gourmet quality food, and they're not really doing anything crazy by coming up with this big arch, which, like I said, is basically a Big Mac with slightly bigger patties, with quarter pounder patties. Okay. Anyway, by the way, very quickly, did you know that back in the day, this is how stupid people are, by the way, McDonald's came out with a third pounder burger. Okay. They had their quarter pounder and then their double quarter pounder, which equals a half pound for if we're doing math and stuff. And they brought out a third pounder. Now, anybody who has taken basic math and fractions and division and multiplication knows that there's a quarter pound, 1/4 of a pound is smaller than 1/3 of a pound. And then a double quarter pounder is 1/4 plus 1/4 is 2/4. That's 1/2. That's a half a pound. That's bigger than 1/3. But 1/3 is bigger than a quarter pounder. But people are so stupid. This is what the government, this is what they did to us. This is exactly what they wanted. People were so stupid that when they saw commercials for the third pounder, they saw the 3 and thought that was less than the quarter pounder as far as burger size goes. This is not as much burger as the quarter pounder. So we're not going to buy this third pounder. Why would we buy a third pounder when we could get a quarter pounder and get more burger? That's how stupid people are. Okay? Anyway, I digress. Back to the CEO. He put out this video of their new Big Arch burger, and he was like so excited, and he takes this tiny ass little bite. He doesn't even bite into the top bun. He pretends that he's taking a big bite, and then you could see how he closes his mouth right before the bun and just goes a little bit of like a test, just the bare minimum you could possibly get. And he goes, "Oh man, that's so good. I knew it was gonna be good. I eat here all the time, and this and that. It was good." And it was very awkward and weird. And it got a lot of an uproar and a lot of people talking about McDonald's in this video. It almost looked like a hostage video that someone was forcing him to eat his own product that he didn't want to eat because it's probably got human meat in it. That's another theory going on out there. With all the fast food joints in this country and the number of cows around the world and the availability of beef, the numbers don't add up for us to be able to provide cow's beef to all these fast food chains all the time at the rate that we have. The math doesn't add up for it. It's got to be other types of meat. We don't know. Anyway, again, I digress. We're weaving in and out here, folks. Now, I have a lot of problems, a lot to say about this video. On one hand, it's not a great look. You have this absolute geekazoid, just needle dick pocket protecting loser, a Duke graduate, so he's a geek. As the CEO of McDonald's, his name is like Kapinski or something. Real geek type. He's clearly not like I can't imagine him being a great leader because he clearly doesn't have normal human people skills. He's probably very good with numbers and quarterly projections and all the bullshit business metrics that the publicly traded companies care about. But he couldn't even eat a burger, let alone have a conversation with a human being. So he's that guy. I'm sure he's a nice fella. I'm sure his family likes him. I'm sure his robot wife loves him. Whatever. That's fine. All well and good. But he's a big-time geek. He looks like he's in a hostage situation, forcing himself to eat this burger because he probably knows it's human meat or cat or rat or dog or whatever. And it seems like it's a bad look for McDonald's. People are bashing the guy, this and that. He also made a bunch of follow-up videos him trying other things on the menu where he's taking bigger bites. He's trying to act more human. And again, it's almost like he's digging his own grave. And he's probably going to end up getting himself fired because of it. I don't know. Maybe. Real quick, going back to the original video. If you look in the beginning of the video, he's talking about the burger. He's showing you the seeds on the bun. He's talking about what's on the inside and this and that before he takes his bite. The French fry container on his tray is about half empty. Okay? When it's time for him to take the bite, the French fry container is full. Now, I don't know if they CGI'd that in there or if it was a double take, like they had to do another take because he threw up or he couldn't eat the human meat or whatever it was. I don't know. But that stuff, plus the fact that you brought this humanoid out here to do this video, like people see right through that shit immediately on the internet these days. If you're not genuine or authentic and you're putting out this curated garbage, people see right through this bullshit. So that's why a lot of people are saying this is a bad look for McDonald's and it's getting worse because this guy keeps putting out videos. On the other hand, everybody's talking about McDonald's. And you know who else is talking about McDonald's? Other fast food chains. And the more and more I watch this weirdo robot guy to laugh at and make fun of in my head, not in public because of Big Three, the more I want to go get a Big Mac. Or they're bringing back the chicken Big Mac coming up soon for a temporary period of time. Which, for the idiots out there, it's a Big Mac with chicken patties as opposed to burger patties, just in case you didn't realize what the hell that was. For all those of you who thought that a third pounder was smaller than a quarter pounder. But it's drumming up conversation and hashtag trends all over social media about McDonald's. And I know there's this argument that people are having that, you know, you used to say no press is bad press, but this is definitely bad press, and he probably shouldn't have done this, and he shouldn't keep making videos and this and that. But it's got people talking, and again, it's got the other fast food chains copying him. And wouldn't you fucking know it, the copier of all copiers, the frauds of all frauds, I don't have an original idea, so I'm gonna steal an idea and lie about it and pretend it was my own. Frauds of all time, Burger King came out with their loser, copycat, unimaginative, bum CEO to do their own burger taste video. And of course, he took a bigger bite to make it to show like, oh, I love this stuff. I actually eat my product, so I know what I'm talking about. Unlike McDonald's, that guy was a weirdo robot. We're going to show you how we actually eat meals here and this and that. And so he took a giant bite. And then you see other people doing it too. Maybe Wendy's did it recently with their CEO. I saw a bunch of memes out there talking about how the Arby's CEO is probably going to do cunnilingus to this roast beef sandwich on his video, and he's really going to actually go for it and bang his sandwich, and that's how he's going to show them because they're trying to one-up each other. And this is what it's created, okay? You could shit-talk the geeky Duke Mike Krzyzewski-looking CEO of McDonald's all you want, and he should probably get dragged for it, as I'm sure he knows he looks like a weirdo robot. Fine, whatever. You could do all that you want. But at the end of the day, McDonald's once again started something that everybody is talking about and every competitor is trying to replicate. Okay? And that's all they do. And I love Wendy's. Don't get me wrong. I love Wendy's. I like their Frosties. That's what the guy did. He did, the Wendy's guy had a burger, Baconator, I think. Then he had a Frosty, and he dipped the fries in the Frosty because that's what people do. That's part of the Wendy's sort of cult, following is dip your fries in the Frosty. So he was doing that to show, like, I'm a regular human being. I just like you guys. And let's be honest, any CEO at this level of these size companies is not like any of us at all anymore. They're so far removed from the people that actually buy their product, they don't have the first fucking clue on how to act like one of us. But they're trying, whatever. But here is the thing. Okay? All these other competitors, this is what they've been doing for years and years and years. Their whole marketing, their whole shtick, their whole business is built around how can we do it better than McDonald's? And it doesn't matter what it is. The reason why they're never going to be better than McDonald's is because they have to wait for the it to occur to try to replicate and do it better. Then they make that push. Well, our CEO did this better. And yeah, you can argue the video is a better video than the McDonald's video of their CEO eating it, for sure. But who did it first? Who set the stage? Who set the standard, excuse me? Who started it all? McDonald's started it, and all you're doing is trying to do it better, but you can't come up with your own thing. Every time you come up with your own thing, you fail miserably. And I'm talking about you, Burger King, specifically. Wendy's is fine. Okay? They have their own things. They have a Frosty, which is very different from the milkshakes that you get at Burger King and McDonald's. Or even the McFlurries, the McFloozies over at McDonald's. Very different. And they've done that well. They have the baked potato, the loaded baked potato. Always done that well. Their burgers are fine, whatever. They're doing their own thing. It's different. This video is absolutely fucking pissing me off, by the way. If you're not watching on YouTube land, it keeps freezing. I am so tired of this shit. I just upgraded my tech and it's still happening. I don't know what the hell to do anymore. Anyway, it's probably my computer is actually too slow at this point. Maybe that's it. I don't fucking know. Anyway, Wendy's is doing their own thing fine. They want to compete with some of this marketing stuff. Good luck to you, Wendy's. You're not going to win the battle. McDonald's will always be better because they're the first to do it. But those scumbag Burger Kings that do nothing but copycat and negative campaign against McDonald's year in and year out. They've been doing the same bullshit shtick for decades now, wondering why it's not working. And they continue to do it, and they continue to wonder why. I know why. Okay? You don't have to be a billionaire CEO of this company to understand why you guys stink. Why you are regularly, every year, year after year, the third most popular of these three giant chains. McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King. You put out more ads than Wendy's, but you're not nearly as successful as them. Because people see through your bullshit. And I don't understand what it's going to take for you to change. Maybe I have to work for Burger King. Maybe that's the only way to actually destroy my enemy is to infiltrate them and change them so now they're no longer an enemy. Now they're not competing against McDonald's and negative campaigning against them. They're doing their own thing, and McDonald's can flourish in their own right, and Burger King can flourish in its own right, and Wendy's can continue to flourish in its own right. When Wendy's fails, when places like Wendy's miss the mark and don't hit their goals for a particular new product or whatever, it's almost always when they create a product to compete with a McDonald's new product. It's the same with Burger King. The only difference is when Wendy's comes up with their own thing, they do well. Burger King comes up with their own thing, but still tries to put this spin on it of like, we came up with our own thing. Unlike McDonald's, they always have to take this jab at McDonald's, and it fails miserably. I know there's going to be people out there that say chicken fingers are great. I love the chicken fingers, but they were a bust. The chicken fingers suck. Or chicken fries, excuse me. Chicken fries. Because they didn't know how to do it the right way. They didn't have Tony Rigatoni and his posse in the lab creating actual chicken finger French fries. French fry fingers. That was the only way. And you blew it. You tried to make little mini thin chicken strips, fried chicken strips to make them look like fries. And that's not what the people want. They could just go get chicken tenders somewhere else or nuggets somewhere else. Be better. How is it that hard to figure out that like 12 people will like your chicken fries, but everybody else is just going to get your chicken nuggets or other people's chicken nuggets or chicken tenders from another place? But French fry fingers would have been a hit because you're biting into the breaded chicken tendy style breading and then you get a French fry inside. You idiots blew it. I just thought of that right now. And guess what? I'm getting on the horn with Tony Riggs because next week they're going to be a sponsor. And these fucking morons in Burger King couldn't figure that out in the years and years of working there and continuing to fail and continuing to fail and continuing to fail. And now you watch their video, what the CEO is wearing, like this hipster apron. You know how the hipsters have to have an apron that's always different from just a regular goddamn apron? Those have to be different and look cool with their stupid beards and their gauge earrings and their man buns. And the fact that they're weak pussies and you can beat them up. Anybody can beat them up. My nephew could. He's wearing one of those that says, BK, have it your way. Ugh. And he's eating this Whopper or whatever the hell the stupid burger was. Their competition burger to the Big Arch. And he's like, I took a real bite. It's because I actually enjoy I love this stuff. I eat it all the time. Meanwhile, this pencil dick, stick figure, Gumby looking geek over here at McDonald's just has everybody, the entire market, wrapped up, tied up like a pretzel. He's living rent-free in all your stupid mush brain heads right now. Because all he had to do was take a reluctant hostage video bite of a burger, and everybody is copying. Everybody. Even comedians are doing bits pretending that they're a different restaurant doing it, like White Castle. I saw a bit where a guy is on the CEO of White Castle. This is how you want to eat the Crave case. It's like a suitcase of burgers. You want to smash them all together. You want to eat them, and then you want to rip some weed, and you want to drink a Pabst Blue Ribbon can. Like, they're doing it all. Everybody is talking about this geek from McDonald's. And everybody else is copying this geek from McDonald's, trying to say that they're doing better. But at the end of the day, it really didn't matter what this geek weirdo did in his video. It didn't really matter how well he did. All that matters was that he put the video out. It's probably actually better that he looked the way he did because guess what? He's got everybody else in a goddamn body bag trying to figure out how to replicate this and do it better. And the answer is you can't. It doesn't matter how much more of the burger you eat, how much you actually enjoy it, how more authentic and genuine and natural you look on camera. It doesn't matter because you're now just the guy copying the other guy. You're just the company CEO responding to the other CEO who did it first. And I don't know how many more times we have to talk about this on the LPDS before Burger King realizes this is why we hate you. This is why you suck. Because you cannot come up with your own ideas. And when you do, you still have to try to bash the great one, the Nic Cage of fast food restaurants, McDonald's. And I'm not talking about the quality of food. That's not an argument we're having here. You know this. I don't care about the quality of McDonald's food. I'm still going to eat it. Don't care. But how many more times does Burger King have to gaslight you into thinking they were the creator of the double burger, double cheeseburger? Remember that commercial from a few weeks ago I talked about? A couple months ago, actually, now. A double cheeseburger is so good, you're going to say we might as well say we invented it. Well, you didn't. And we know this. And I outed you right here on the last time I talked about it on the Junction. How many more times do we have to call you out on your bullshit before you realize it's time for a change? Call me up. I'll help you. No hard feelings. I won't destroy you from within. I'll make you better. Because by making you actually good and marketing the right way and coming up with your own shit, it'll actually be better for everybody. McDonald's will be fine. You won't have to be bashing them. You won't have the McDonald's crowd on your ass now. Look, like I said, I'm blindly loyal to McDonald's. You've known this for 5+ years. It was like the second or third episode ever of the LPDS was me talking about my blind loyalty to McDonald's. But I still go to Wendy's. I still go to Chick-fil-A. I still go to Taco Bell. I still go to Popeyes. I still go to KFC. I'll still go to Five Guys, which I think is a little different than a fast food joint. I'll go to Whataburger. I'll go to any other fast food joint in a pinch if I need to. Where I won't go, ever, on my own dime, Burger King. I'll go to a gas station and get the gas station sushi before I spend my money on a Burger King. I've been to Burger King 3 times. I've had Burger King 3 times. And this is well documented. The first time was in college when our team was on a road trip and we had to go there. And I wasn't paying for it. I got the chicken sandwich there. Excuse me. The second time was right after I got out of college. I was in the military, and my roommate was a big Burger King fan, and I told him my whole shtick, my spiel about Burger King. And he said, have you never even tried a Whopper? I said, nope. And he goes, I'm going to buy you one. He's like, would you eat it if I bought you one? I was like, yeah, as long as it's not my money, I'll try it. And then the third time was with the Bone Crusher. We were at King's Dominion Amusement Park, and on the way back, the only place to eat on the way back, because we didn't want to spend $6,500 on food inside the park. On the way back, the only thing was a Burger King, and he said, listen, I'll pay for your meal here, but I'm stopping here, so you can either not eat or let me pay, and then you can pay me with some other time. I think I bought him a pizza and a future rendezvous. I don't know. Those are the only 3 times I've ever had Burger King. Not my money. And it never will be. But it doesn't mean it doesn't have to change. It never will be until things change. Let me help you change them. How do you let this goober from McDonald's, Kevin Stefanski, or whatever his name is, Kirk Kilinowski, how do you let this boob, this wiener, he can't even talk to humans. He doesn't know how to deal with human beings. He's supposed to be a human being himself, and he doesn't know how to deal with human beings. He's a weird humanoid cyborg freak who can't eat regular food. He probably gets some sort of serum injected into him to sustain nutrients. How do you let this guy body bag you like this with just a simple series of stupid, awkward videos like this? And your first and only thought was, let's just do the same thing but make it look cooler so people will like us more. How many more times do you have to fail at that tactic? Respond to McDonald's tactic. Let's just replicate it to try to do it better. How many more times do you have to fail And then instead of taking ownership and putting your hand up into any sort of accountability, you start taking jabs and you negatively campaign against them. How many more times do you have to do that before you realize it's time to make a change? Maybe you're just going to fail. Maybe it's just going to shut the whole operation down soon enough. Unfortunately, I don't see that happening anytime soon because you have places like Olive Garden still open, Long John Silver is still open. These places still exist somehow, yet they're the worst of the worst. I actually like Long John Silver's way more than Olive Garden, obviously. So, it will be a long time, but how many more years do you have to continue hemorrhaging profits and money and growth of your business before you realize it? You kick yourself in the ass, look yourself in the mirror and say, I got to do something different. Because you're getting bodied. You're getting bent over a barrel and shown the 50 states by a guy who can't even talk to other humans. He doesn't even know how to bite into a burger like a normal human. And he's body bagging you. Aren't you embarrassed by that? Doesn't that make you lose sleep at night knowing that this guy is getting away with this day in and day out? He's running an organization that's absolutely running circles around your outfit. That would kill me inside. That would kill me. If that was happening to me in any sort of way, shape, or possible, I would not sleep until I make the change needed to be better. Yet these loser morons at Burger King continue to do the same shit every single time. Every single time. They can't even get out of their own way at this point. So please, Burger King, whoever's in charge, give me a call. I'll turn the company around. You can have that idiot CEO there with the apron. He can deal with the numbies and the metrics and all the stupid crap a CEO has to do. Let me focus on coming up with better ideas and better marketing. That way, you turn your enemy of the McDonald's crowd into friends who will also share their finances with you and try your product as well. And everybody will win. Like I said, I'm a McDonald's guy, but I still go to Wendy's all the time. No problem with Wendy's. You have to do better. Give me a call. We can fix this and you can still flourish. I can make you better. I don't want you to die. I don't want your company to die out and all these people lose their jobs. I just want you to be better. I will eliminate you as an enemy of the LPDS, not by killing you, but by turning you into a reputable business that doesn't go after important entities to the LPDS universe. You can't go after LPDS entities, people, assets. They're in the universe. McDonald's is part of the universe. You don't go after us. You don't try to replicate and do better than them. No, you do different. And that will be better in and of itself. I don't know why that's such a difficult concept for you to figure out. No, I don't want to kill you. I want to kill Olive Garden. I will never work for them and try to make them better. I will destroy you from the inside, Olive Garden. If you ever hired me, I will destroy you from the inside. That will be the first order of business. As president and CEO of Olive Garden, I hereby shut down Olive Garden, effective immediately. Board it up. In fact, I'll make sure that my friends and people I know who actually like that slop, I'll make them all call their Olive Gardens to place orders. And then I will respond with, It's me. It's Libretti. It's the sergeant. I receive your order, and we're shutting the place down. Fuck you. I win. I will shut Olive Garden down. I don't need to shut Burger King down. There are ways to fix this, to solve this diplomatically without going to war. Because we all know, Burger King, everybody knows what happens when you go to war with the LPDS. I know you're not trying to do that, but you're making a lot of stupid decisions over the years that's creating this situation. Let me help you. Let's become allies here. I'm open to it. I don't think the Whopper was that bad. I don't think it sucked. Your chicken fries are gay and sucked. But I'll eat your food. Let's be allies, though. Get out of your own way. Let me help you. Bottom line, if we're scoring this situation, of course it goes to McDonald's. These videos the McDonald's CEO put out sucked. This guy's a weirdo and a geek, and I almost hate him. While I'm watching the videos, I'm like, God, this guy stinks. He has one video where he's putting vanilla ice cream on a Filet-O-Fish sandwich. And it's like, man, I really want to punch this guy. But also, he's the McDonald's CEO. I have no shame in admitting that these videos stink. And they're emotionally painful to watch. But score another one for McDonald's. At the end of the day, McDonald's wins. Okay, they got everybody talking about them. No press is bad press. For this situation, it's all good press. People, I promise you, people are going to McDonald's. Still. And he got his competition scrambling to try to make better versions of the same video. Nothing new, just different versions of the same crap. That's McDonald's for the win there. That is McDonald's. Good day, Burger King. Good day, Wendy's. Sorry to do it to you. Good day, anybody else who tried it out. McDonald's secures the victory there. Sorry. Be better, Burger King. Be better. Take the L. Put your hand up. Say, I got to make a change. I need help. And give me a call. And that's all I got to say about that. Before we go, very quickly, before this video craps out again and I absolutely lose my mind again, the big three, the three pillars to staying strong and being a better, happier, kinder, healthier, less stressed, more genuine human being and being able to spread that positivity and goodness to all those around you throughout the land. Number one, exercise every day. Do something each and every day to improve your physical, mental, and emotional health and wellness. Whatever you got to do. Number two, the hardest one to do, don't be a shitty or negative person, be a kind person. When the opportunity arises to be shitty to someone, whether in person or on the internet, even if you think they deserve it, take a deep breath, take the LPDS step back, detach from those negative emotions, and remove yourself from the situation. Put the phone down, close the laptop, go for a walk, whatever you got to do. Number three, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. And you can do this a little bit each and every day by thinking about one good thing in your life or something good that happened to you in the last 24 hours and thinking about what your life would be like without that thing. And that'll immediately put you in a state of gratitude. And the more you do that throughout the day, the more time you spend throughout your day in a state of gratitude as opposed to being, taking things for granted, the easier it's going to be to remove yourself from negative situations and the more capacity you're going to have to do more positive, productive things with yourself, like exercising. And if you do these three things a little bit each and every day and a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, I promise you'll be a better, happier, kinder, healthier, less stressed, more genuine human being, be able to spread that positivity and goodness to all those around you and throughout the land. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe and put your notifications on and tell your friends and enemies and hit that hotline 202-670-1114. I love the hotline. Still miss the hotline. I'm going to tell you about it every week. Call the hotline. Please. I love it. You love it. We all love it. 202-670-1114. 1114. Thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.